Hello. This is more like a diary, I guess, right? So I'm just like saying this so that I can say it. It's something that happened earlier, right? So, I was working, me and my brother. We just work together, right? It's like easier that way. It's fast, and we make good money, right? We work together, so there's no like person setting up the jobs. It's usually him or I finding things that might work, and then we do the thing that works, and we get paid. So 6 hours. We laid bricks, right? It's the first step of this person's skirting. This is what they wanted. This is what we're gonna do. It's fine, whatever. Spent 6 hours laying bricks. Got up, packed up a few things, made sure the site was like clean, this person's like yard, and then driving home, was stopped at a Safeway. I wanted some fruit, got some yogurt, and those apple chips that they have in the produce section. Very good stuff. Just finished the entire bag. And here's a funny thing, right? Here's a funny thing that happened. Oh, you know what? Let's go back to work before the funny thing at Safeway. Uh, I was like working at one spot, and my brother was on the other like wall or something. And so there was one person that came before us to like work on it. They never came back, and they did a very bad job. So I was going over where they already did, and I was correcting it. I was making it look a whole lot better. Like if you were at the corner of the house and you looked at the bricks, right? Like it wasn't a straight line. It was like, or it might have just been like one big hump right in the middle. But that's really ugly. And so I just told him, it's like, I'm gonna go rectify this horrible thing that happened, which was the almost skirting that was victimized by this other person. Who cares, right? And then my brother, he was walking over, grabbing, whatever you call them, concrete blocks, and then you know came back a couple times, two bricks at a time. They're the big ones, like this big, that tall. They got the two holes in them, and he just stopped coming back. He was just gone. I was like, I cannot be the only person working here. This is miserable. And sorry, I got like a little insecure about my eczema, so I had to look at it. And I just like picked at this acne, so I keep rubbing it. Anyway, he stopped coming. I was working, getting a little irritated at how long he was gone, but not very much. I was still working. I was just gonna keep working, and then he finally came back around 10 minutes later, maybe only five. It doesn't really matter. It was many minutes later, multiple, and there was this horse that had walked up. It's on like a ranch property. I'll find a picture. And he was petting the horse. I took this picture. It probably won't get much better than what it looks like, right? It's blurred. Oh shoot, that focused well. I didn't expect it. Hold on. All right, it's not gonna focus again. It was cool. Took a picture, pet the horse, and the horse nipped at me. I let it smell my hand or whatever. It's like a submission, like let me pet you, and it tried to bite me. So I had to, you know. And so fast forward, now we're at Safeway. Got the four groceries that I did: apples, banana, Siggy's yogurt, and those apple chips. Very good stuff. All good, all healthy foods. And this big fella, This big fella. He's usually a bagger or he gets the carts from outside. Big fella as in like he's got a little bit of weight, but he's like if I'm like this tall, he's like probably like here on me. Like he's just a bigger, he's tall. He's a tall fella. A tall and a bigger fella. I was at the self-checkout. 15 feet away, you got the front door. Or like the exit. And it's one of these stores where it's like this is a door, this is a room with the carts, and here's another door. We were here, walking up. This is where he caught us. Here's the door. Caught us, took my cart from me, which, you know, I was like, who cares? You know, I'm on my way out. Either way, it's going to get to where it has to go. I was already holding my bag, like the cart was empty. And then he walks from here, goes right here. He's right inside of the room. And then he just pushes the cart and it like slams up against the wall. My brother and I thought that was funny. And then next thing to happen is got in the car. And then here's Safeway, right? Safeway is right here. No, I'm gonna do it as a dot. And here is like the turn. This is like I drive out of the parking lot up, go this way, and then turn left, and then I go way up this road to get home. And that was it. It's supposed to just, we took his car, I was driving it, so I was just going to get out of the car and walk home. I live a block away from my brother. And somewhat of, it doesn't even matter how far. Okay, so here's Safeway. We get out of the parking lot, turn left, turn right, step before this road, right? And I'm at this light, or I'm getting to the light. And I wasn't really looking because I'm like watching the road, my phone, my laptop, the big TV on my windshield. But there was this car, and I swear it just disappeared, you know? I was like, I didn't say anything because I figured I just wasn't paying enough attention, but the car was just gone. And it was like, it's like it almost looked like the car went straight where this road turned, right? So if I turn here, if you keep going straight, the road, it curves. It curves, and it was like, it didn't look like this car went with the curve. And then I'm in the turning lane, about to stop, and it's like, this car reappears because, you know, if this is the curve, it, on the sides of the road, it goes down, and then on this side, where, if this is the curve, it's this side, the bottom side, you know, curve, it's this side right here. It goes down, and then it goes back up. And at the top of this hill is the interstate. There's a fence, obvious reasons. I mean, you know, it's a free access or something to limit that. I mean, it's, you know, there's on ramps and exit ramps all over the place. But he went, you know, I saw him again as I was coming to a stop, and he had went down. He did go straight. He was in the ditch, and then he crashed through the fence and just stopped. And I looked at my brother and I was like, you see that? We got to go check that out, you know. Not even like a 1/10 of a mile away, probably a 20th even, you know, 5% of a mile. So, you know, flip the signal the opposite way. Speed up kind of fast, car accident, you know. There's some level of urgency, and I put the car in park, turn it off, and he's like, oh, I wouldn't have done that. Car's not super reliable. Who even cares, right? I get out of the car kind of quick, kind of rushing, because car accident, and I didn't have a good feeling, because in the 10 seconds it took for me to put the car in park, the guy didn't try to back up or get out. Car's just like idle. It's like someone put like a small but heavy object against the gas, and then it rolled off when the car went down. And then it, you know, I'm like out of the car. I'm already like off the shoulder, and then my brother's door opens, and then I'm like jogging down this hill, you know, again, car accident. And so stupid. I crawled through the fence, big hole, not a huge like chore or something. A vehicle drove through it, and I open. No, I didn't open anything quite yet, but I looked at this window, see if the driver was okay, and he's leaning against the door, like that, maybe like this, but there was foam coming out of his mouth, and it's like, you know, very very stressful. Immediate. It's from like a 50 to like 100 or something. It's like, okay, car accident, but it's also like a health issue now. So I looked at my brother and I was like, stuttered a minute, and then whipped out my phone, I dialed 911, and then I like opened the door. Thankfully, it was unlocked. I don't know why it was unlocked because the car was running. It was in drive. And then my brother crawled through fast to like look. He saw the urgency or something. And it took the dispatcher like 3 rings or something. And then in 4 minutes, or a 3-minute phone call, I think 2 or 3 other cars had stopped. Oh, shoot. The dispatcher answered, and I was like, dog, I think someone's seizing. I'm like, on this street between the interstate and the road. The car stopped. It's easy to find us. We're right after these businesses. And then the car just started like moving again. And it was like, and so my brother like forced his leg back on the brake, and then I reached in and put the car in park. And really stressful. So one of these cars that parked was actually extremely lucky. A mile away is the hospital. There was nurses like driving to work or from home or something, or to home, I mean. But like in scrubs and everything, like they knew exactly what to do. It was super awesome. Like screamed out his name at me or something, like yelled. I guess it wasn't like they were screaming at me, but extremely like stressful situation. And I think now that I'm like not in the position, I do think that it was like an overdose seizure, right? Uh yeah, no, it was a bad time. Some like cops showed up like literally within 5 minutes or something of like them answering. It's a small town, and then thank goodness too, my brother doesn't have his license. He's on probation, and on top of that, the car that we were driving is many months past registration. Um, yeah, very stressful, right? And then, yeah, I mean, I guess we just went home after that. As soon as the cops arrived, we were just like, we booked it out. Didn't want to talk, didn't want to hang around. But I guess during this phone call too, the nurse opened his passenger door to like look at him because she has more experience than I and my brother and this third woman who was on the other side of the fence at the time. And he like was coherent enough to like look over like lazily, like he wasn't like super alert and like good motor functionality, and he was like swinging at the seat, making noises, right? Like, at the end, I feel like what we did, other than potentially save the guy's life, is ruin a really bad high, which is awful. I mean, it was a really bad thing. But, yeah, I don't know. Now there's a big hole in the fence. I felt really. This guy's gonna live, and now his car is also in a very bad shape. Scratches along the sides, obviously, big metal fence. But the bumper was torn apart. The passenger side mirror, you could see electronics in it. It was a newer Subaru. Maybe within the last like 10 years, that kind of new. But, he was my age. It was like a shocking thing to see after making fun of an employee at Safeway for like throwing the cart against the wall. But I guess that's pretty much it. So thank you for watching if you watched, and goodbye.